So focus is very, very essential for the mind, because it's the way it collects information. What we focus on is often what we have on the surface of our mind. If we read a book today about how to improve the world, how to make people happier, it's very likely that when we step outside, our mind automatically look for such opportunities. If we read about apples today, it's very likely that we notice more apples. If we read about cactus, it's very likely that we notice cactus much easier. And also, if we are scared of certain elements, certain situations, it's very likely that part of our focus is dedicated to notice the sources of potential fear. So our focus is limited, and the way we organize it is the way our future will be shaped. There are different modes of focus. So when we are unconscious, we are literally out of the focus, because we are not looking at our environment. We are not constantly guiding our sensors to collect information. In terms of vision, we are not looking at a certain thing. In terms of hearing, we are not focused, we are not guided toward a certain frequency, a pattern of voice of someone or something. When we wake up, things start to gradually to be started. And then we are going to deal with the world, our desires and what we don't desire. And based on that, our focus is going to be navigated. However, imagine that we choose a certain situation, an object, a person, a voice, to focus and collect information. Imagine we are going to write a letter to a person to express our needs. Or we are in a speech and we are going to take notes about certain points. How long and with which quality of details we can navigate our focus to a certain phenomena is a human skill, because beginning of bringing our focus is often easy. So we just bring our sensors, our eyes and our hearing ability to a certain pattern. However, there is a difficulty in most of humans to maintain our condition, our collective information collective condition to the pattern. So often if we ask someone to stare at a certain object after a while the person start looking around. So how we can keep our focus is a question for many people. So to understand this, we need to also know what are the modes of focus. We said that when we are sleeping, we are out of focus. When we starting focus on one thing, we have a so-called direct focus. So we have all our channels of bringing information and collecting information on single phenomena, is a speech in the radio. So we are not going to hear majority of the things around us. So it's a direct focus. However, we have this idea of scattered focus. When someone is very often changing the direction of their focus from one object, one phenomenon, to others. So you may walk in the street and look at the people. How often they are changing the direction of their eyes? How often they look to the other side of the street? How often they change the position of their head to change the source of information they are collecting. And when it's happening, often it's called a scattered mind or a scattered focus. Why? Because it's not directed to a certain point, and it's scattered because it's shifting from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4, and then it comes back to 2, and then it goes back to 3. So the person is walking in the street and then is looking down to his shoes, and then up for a few seconds, look at one car, and as he's walking, he look at the door of the house, and then it reminds him of some stories, and then as soon as the story is passing by, a bike passes, and the bike has a rider, and the person is looking at the rider, and then this rider goes, and then there is another car there, and then this car comes back to the left, and it goes, and this car reminds certain thoughts, and then these thoughts bring other thoughts, and then the person is looking already in the other part of the street where so many things happen, comes, and then the focus is changing as the changes are happening outside. So sometimes we are somewhere in between. We are focused on one task, but at the same time, other few things are happening in our mind. They come to our mind and go. They come to our mind and go. Or for example, we are writing a letter, and at the same time, we have our baby that is in the room, and our mind is busy to make sure that this baby is not going to a certain part of the room. So if, for example, we put a glass of water at the end of the room, and then we don't like the baby to reach the water, maybe the water pours on, and we are a bit of uncomfortable with this. So in this situation, we are writing a letter, maybe typing a letter or reading a book. We are focused, directed, but at the same time to time, something arises in mind, or a movement from outside, from the baby, that take the focus to the other side. And then, as soon as make sure that is not going to happen, then again the focus come back and then continue with the situation. So in this situation, we call this a swinging focus that goes from one to another and then come back. The swinging focus also is the pattern of thoughts that we have when we are in a very intimate relationship, because we are doing our day, and then in the meantime the memory of the other person comes to our mind, fills our mind, so many possibilities, ideas, memories, joys and frustration at the same time, possibilities of future, things we don't like, things we like, things can happen, things should not happen, things should happen. And then all these things come to our mind, to the surface. And then sometimes we do an action or not, and then we come back to the task or to the thing that we were doing, and then we continue. And in this process, we have the loading of all these ideas and information to the surface of mind, and then we have the reloading of the other sources, and again loading, and again reloading. So all it has the memory, storage, unloading, and decision making, and then again rewriting. So this swinging way is often associated with people who are in relationships, or people who are scared of a certain people or situations while they are working on or focused on another task and activity. So the highest performance of focus is the direct focus. Why? Because the information is about one phenomenon, one activity, and one task. Comes to the surface of mind, the decision making, calculation, and memory all work for that, and then is deep and profound, highly performed, and then has enough space of mind for all kind of processes, because we said that our brain has limited mental capacity. That's why many martial artists are working a lot with the focus, because it's very efficient, and then you can put all your energy toward a certain situation. After that comes swinging. So in the swinging, you are doing a task, you are focused on a certain object, your energy is directed, but then you have the other phenomenon, thought or motivation, that comes, enters our mind, and then bring gradually all the information, and then rewrites what is happening and push the other source of information. And then our energy and emotions get busy with that, and then sometimes we are totally unconscious about this because we take it very natural, and then we come back to the direct focus mode, and then things go away, and again after a while again comes back, again go away, comes back. So compared to a direct focus, the swinging focus is less efficient. However, it might be pleasant when we are in a relationship, because it also gives a sense of break from one topic. It might be interesting in that concept. However, if the swinging focus has the second feeling, that is irritation and undesired, then it becomes a source of frustration. And then we have the scattered focus, in which literally the focus is changing to different sources, and it is often the least performance, and it has also very difficult for the brain and nervous system to support because of all this loading and reloading happening in the mind. And then majority of these topics are not closed and concluded, so they are not fully processed before another topic, another source of information appear, and then start pushing away the others. Then again, before reaching a sort of maturity and stability, another source comes. This is often when we are very in the urban life, jumping from meetings to the other meeting, and topics from another topic, which in the beginning is very fascinating, but in some cases, which are many, our body is not able to support. So over time, our mind is super busy, our body is exhausted, and our mind is constantly wandering because it's getting used to jumping from one topic to another topic. And in this situation, the best way is to bring gradually back all our focus to one direct way, which is consuming less energy. It has deep and profound way of dealing with things, and it's also clear in terms of what we choose to focus on and how long we do this process, when we start and when we stop.